Hello, everyone, and welcome to the closing reception or closing session of the Globe annual meeting in its virtual format. This has been, I hope you agree, a very productive meeting and very different from last year's meeting. And here at GIO, sometimes we like to mix things up a little bit to see how they will operate either on a larger scale or in a different format. And so we did some of that this year with the meeting here. But Grace, if you can go on to the next slide.
Tony, I was just going to wait a few minutes. I know a lot of people are still coming in.
Oh, okay.
Before continuing on.
All right.
I was trying to get that to you. I apologize.
That's all right. That's all right. I can wait a few minutes or another minute.
I don't see the numbers going up anymore. So we'll go to the.
All right. So as you all are aware, we are a global community in many ways. And we have had lots of presentations and so on from and discussions that have involved many people from all of our 6 regions around the world. Next slide. And so just to give you an idea of who was here, we had 291 registrants from 58 Globe countries. And just as a reminder, we have 126 countries right now in the program. So almost half of the countries were represented and all 6 regions were represented. Of that 291, 167 were international and 124 were from the US. And then if we look at some of the breakdown on the different users, we had 17 students, 84 teachers, 45 country coordinators, and 29 US partners. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being engaged in the meeting as well. And let's just take a quick look back at the week and what we covered. And we normally do this at our annual meetings, but we're also doing it even though we're virtually participating in the meeting. So we've taken some screenshots from various sessions and so on. So we started off very early on Monday morning with our country coordinator meeting. And then as we went through the day, we had a number of different presentations on where we are at this point in time in the community and in the program. So next slide. We had some presentations on the trainer-mentor-trainer process. We had some new ways of looking at the protocols and protocol learning, as opposed to some training in the annual meeting, because we all know that this is a very short, condensed time. And then we also had some updates on the mosquito habitat mapper and some of the results from that through the Globe Observer app. Next slide. And we also had many presentations about the data and how to analyze that, how people were using it in classrooms, how they're using it with students, what students are doing. Wonderful set of presentations about the scope of the program and the breadth of the program. And then some shots from today, where we were looking at the European phenology campaign was one of those that was highlighted. Also having the students come in and give us their perspectives. This is a new type of panel that we were trying this year, and having a diverse group of students, some coming from a school and then some coming from the pilot vloggers project, which is now continuing in as a regular initiative of the program. And it's just wonderful to see the videos that the students produce on what they're learning about the environment and their local environment, and how they're doing this through Globe. So that was the week that was, and the year ahead. So I've divided this slide into two pieces. On my left here, starting with the protocol deactivation process. These are some things that will happen and that will occur specifically in the year. And the other, on the other side, the other column, are really some of the things that we do annually as supporting the program. So if we start with the protocol deactivation process, Allison outlined some of this, and we will be starting that process. In the fall, we'll be working with Dave and his DIS team to come up with a schedule, and we will be communicating that schedule to you all so that you can see when these protocols will be deactivated. And just as a reminder, materials and resources will still remain on the website. The protocol itself will be on the website. It's primarily the data entry for that protocol that will be deactivated. Then also on the flip side of that, we have the protocol proposal process. And the science working group has finished its work around the characterization of what makes a good Globe protocol. And so now we're going to look at the existing process that was in place for proposing new protocols, and we're going to revise that and integrate what the science working group has put forward. And so we'll be looking at getting that proposal process out for community comment, hopefully soon, but we will get that out to you. And as I said, this is the time then to give your feedback on that process. And then we'll take that back and look at what changes, if any, can be made in the proposal process. And I know that people are eagerly awaiting this proposal process, so that will be a high priority for us as we head into the fall. Website architecture enhancements. You've heard that there's been various movements around changing the website, and this has been a process that has been going on for a number of years, and we're getting to the point of putting some of those enhancements out around the layout of the website and its navigation. And so as they'll start to be finalized, we'll also communicate that to you all and what those changes might look like and so on, so that you're fully aware of those. There's been various testing with different users in the community and so on, to make sure that those changes that are being made will be effective for different user types. Then we have the Globe Observer app, and as you know, there are enhancements that come out on the app regularly, and the various data entry forms that are available for data entry around the protocols and the spheres, they're being changed so that they can fit with the Globe Observer app and integrate it into the Globe Observer app. And so that work is continuing, and it's something that Dave and his team will be continuing to work on. The trainer mentor trainer process, we heard a lot from you during that session, and so we're already looking at some ways of alleviating some of the stress and anxiety that people have around submissions and so on to that process. So we're already talking about trying to streamline that a little bit for existing master trainers and trainers. And then you also heard about the Globe Evaluation Framework that, all right, the Globe Evaluation Framework that's being developed by the Globe Program Office. And so Allison and Amy have been spearheading that. And as that unfolds as well, we'll keep you informed of that and communicate with you about that and how it's progressing. So there's some of the special items that are that will be coming this year between now and the annual meeting next year. But also, just to remind you that we do have working group nominations, and they will be coming up, as I said, starting in September. And so keep an eye out for those particular ones for different working groups. And each of those working groups has a GIO liaison, and that's how we support the working group process and then the work throughout the year. The science activation projects that many U.S. partners are involved with through NASA funding will also be continuing, and we also have liaisons from the office with those groups so that we're aware of what's happening and how GIO can support that. We also will have a number of regional meetings happening specifically in the fall, and then there's 4 of those that are coming up in the fall, and we work with the regional coordination offices in getting those in place. And then there'll be 2 more coming up in the spring of next year prior to the annual meeting. There's various website updates on content and so on that we'll be working with Dave's team on as well, to get the website up to date on content and monitor that content. And then there are some new countries that are interested in coming on board. And so we'll be working once they have signed the agreement to bring them on board and do an onboarding process with the new countries. And then we also will have some new U.S. partners coming on board. And so we'll be working with Jen Bourgeot, the U.S. country coordinator, in that process as well. And then I did also want to mention that there will be, I believe, some spaces in the U.S. Partner Forum that will be coming up as well. And so we'll be working with Jen Bourgeot, again, the U.S. country coordinator, on that process. And then we also have our annual survey. And again, this annual survey is very, very important. It's broadened in who it goes out to in the community. It used to be just country coordinators and U.S. partners, but now we send it to teachers. We send it to scientists in the GISN. So we've broadened the audience for that. And so it's important that you complete that survey when it comes out, because we take that information, and as you saw last year, we're starting to change that and put it into infographics. And these infographics hopefully will be more useful to you than what we used to do before with the annual survey, which was basically create a small set of PowerPoint slides. But these infographics are based on each of the areas and that are outlined in the strategic plan. And so the annual survey is very important. It plays a critical role in helping us understand how we're doing on the strategic plan and moving the strategic plan and its initiatives forward for the community. And next slide. And so a meeting like this doesn't happen on its own, and it takes a lot of planning and a lot of work and a lot of involvement of you as members of the community as well. And so a big, 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 big thank you to everybody who has been involved with the meeting this year. And I just wanted to say that in that thanks, I wanted to include the presenters, many of them from the community, for sharing their great work that they do. I'd also like to thank the keynotes, the students on the panels, the students and teachers, the country coordinators, the U.S. partners, the International Organizing Committee that we have, and that starts work on planning the agenda and so on, and giving feedback about the agenda very, very early on. Numerous other community members for their help, the working groups, the regional coordination offices, the data information systems team, and the Globe Observer team. The sponsors for their dedication to ensure that the program continues and thrives. To Pathable, our platform partner, for creating an easy-to-use site. Thank you for that. And especially to the GIO staff who put in endless hours prior to the meeting, as well as during the event, to make sure it ran smoothly. And those working primarily in the office, in the background, thank you for keeping that humming. And finally, a thank you to all of you for staying up late at night, or getting up early in the wee hours of the morning to join us live. Thank you for doing that, and we really appreciate that. And even though all of these sessions have been recorded, I know that live aspect is very, very important. And so thank you for that. And as I've said many times, the GLOW program is one of the few things in my life, at least, where reality not alone meets many of the expectations that we have set, but it actually blows them out of the water. And this is because of all of you and the great work that you do for the program every day, and especially for each other as part of the community, as members of that GLOBE family. So thank you for all of that work that you do every day. And so it really excites me to announce that once all health conditions remain stable, that, and you can go to the next slide, that we will be returning live and in 3D next year in somewhere in Colorado. We will have our GLOBE annual meeting live, and we are calling it an annual meeting plus, because we're going to try to mix it up a little and try to do some different things as a celebration of the fact that we'll be coming back together in that live and 3D aspect. So stay tuned for that. It will be in mid-July, and we will put out more information as some of the details develop. But you can see that we're also calling it a GLOBE annual meeting plus, because of some of those distinctions that we'll be integrating into the meeting. And so we'll be back to our more regular, normal live meeting, and but we will have some special pieces in there as well, as celebration of the fact that we are coming back together live. And so that is the final piece, the final session from the annual meeting. Thank you again for all of your engagement and participation. And we look forward to getting to that live and 3D meeting next year. And please don't forget to take the exit survey. And you do need to complete it to qualify for any of the prizes that you're hoping to win. So don't forget to take and complete the survey, because if you're not in, you can't win. So with that, thank you all. Thanks to everybody for being here, and we will end the 2022 GLOBE annual meeting, and look forward to seeing you all next year.